Hi, my name is Plus Size Luxury. Today we're talking about selling luxury items, where to sell them, how does it work, the process, all that kind of jazz. And this is going to be applicable to the United States. There are different websites that are international, and you really have to check out the website to see if this website is operating in your country. There's also Facebook groups and Instagrammers and stuff like that that sell and buy in particular countries that might be more suited to your location. But today we're just going to go through the experiences that I've had, and I'm located here in Atlanta, Georgia, and I just wanted to give you some general information. So let's jump right in. Okay, so the first one I have here, and I'm just looking down at my notes, is Fashionphile. So what I like about Fashionphile, they have multiple ways that you can sell your item to them, and it seems like it's very low risk for the sellers involved, especially if you're a newbie. So you're able to send pictures and a general description of your item, and then they send you a quote, typically within 1 to 2 business days, and then they buy it outright. So you don't have to like wait for, is someone else going to buy your item, like a consignment type deal. There's no like commission split or anything like that. They just tell you a price and they purchase it from you, and then they resell it on their website. So this is what I call like a direct buy, and then there's other companies that do consignment. So you can do like the online version where you submit it online. You can do like a virtual appointment where you're actually having like a video conversation and holding up your item and stuff like that with a professional, and they appraise it right there in that appointment. If it's complicated, sometimes they have to ask you to send it in, but typically they do it right in that appointment. You can also do like an on-site appraisal. So here in Atlanta at the Lenox Mall at Neiman Marcus, I believe, they have a showroom where you can set up an appointment. You go in with your items, and then the guy there or the girl there actually looks at your items in person and gives you a quote right then. And then there's also pickup service, but that seems only to be in Florida, so I've never experienced that one. Typically what I do the online submittal, send it in, with my pictures and the general description, get my quote back in 2 days, and then I do the direct buy. So why I like to do the direct buy through Fashionphile is some of the payment methods that they have. Of course, they have like, you send you a check and PayPal and all that kind of stuff, but they also offer, if you get a Fashionphile store credit or a Neiman Marcus gift card, they'll add a 10% bonus on top of what you're already getting paid for the item. So typically when I'm selling an item, I'm putting it back into my bag fund, and so this is almost like just additional money that I can put towards another item. So that's why I like it. I don't know if there's any other companies that does a bonus. Let me just check my notes. Is there any other company that does a bonus? Some of them have like a slight bonus, but this is one that I think is a pretty good deal. And then another thing, like when you're doing a direct buy, you don't have to worry about like, is it going to sell? What if the person claims that it's not authentic? They take out a lot of the worry for yourself, so you're just able to like sell it, forget about it, and they have to deal with all like the customer service aspect of selling an item, and you don't have to worry about it. With that comes typically I would say a lower buyout, because they're taking on more risk and you're getting less risk. So it's not the best price you can get for your item, but it's usually really, really good. I've had great experiences when I'm selling my Chanel items or some of my fine jewelry items. So it just really depends on, I guess, their inventory needs and what's trending. I'm guessing they're observing what people are shopping for or searching for. People have been complaining of lowballing offers or quotes from them, but they've rejected an item that I sent pictures of, and they just said that they had too many of that item. So they were just, it just really depends on what they're looking for, what's hot right now. I noticed that they're really pushing fine jewelry, so they want like Van Cleef and Arpels a lot, Cartier a lot. That seems to be literally flying off the shelves. So yeah, it can be, a little bit lower than you would want for the item, but sometimes they might actually give you a reasonable price for something, especially if you've had it, loved it, used it for a long time. That's something to keep in mind. Another company I've used is Yoogi's Closet. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. I think it's like a much smaller company, independently owned, and they have the same submittal process where you could send in your pictures with a general description. It takes them a bit longer to come back with a quote. I think it took like 4 days maybe. to do the quote. And after about 4 days, I got an offer for a direct buy like Fashionphile, but they also offer a consignment. So the direct buy is typically a lower quote, or what they're going to send you for the item, the amount of money, or the consignment, which is more money. But obviously, as I explained, there's more risk because you're worried, like, what if no one buys it? What if it's just out there lingering and I don't get paid? Like, then you're shipping it back. And so, like, that's something that I can think about. But their consignment fee for all of their items, I think, is about 30%. So you're going to get 70% profit, and typically you're getting more profit because you're taking on more risk for doing a consignment over the direct buy. So that's something to consider. I've never done consignment with them. I've always done direct buy. I've sold 2 items to them, I believe. And I actually found them to be more generous offers in Fashionphile. So I typically send out my pictures in the description to about 3 or 4 to compare and see what's the best offer. And they're typically higher, but they seem to accept less items. So it's just better to, like, try different places and see what you can get. So for the Rebag, it's a bit complicated over there. I've actually never sold anything to them. I've only quoted. Their system seems very sophisticated yet complicated. They have this thing called, what is it? Claire. So you submit your pictures. It I guess has like an algorithm or some sort of AI that looks at your picture, determines what the item is, and then gives you like an insta quote just based on all of the information that they have in this database. If it doesn't recognize your item, you have to manually submit your information, and then you would get like a quote a couple days later. My items were always accepted versus in that insta quote algorithm AI thing that they have, but I found them to be like much lower. So it just depends, I guess, on the item that you're selling, but it's different from the other companies. So they have the clear system, so that's how it works. I've never actually gone through the entire process with them. As I said, I've only gotten quotes and I wasn't happy with the quote, so I didn't proceed. But one other thing that they do is pretty unique is that they do bulk sales. So if you have, like, I don't know, if you're closing down a preloved luxury business, maybe you have like 30 items, this would be a great place to send your items because they do sort of business to business sales, and they can buy items in bulk. So that's an entirely different thing that they offer, which I thought was pretty interesting. No personal experience with that, obviously. And then they also offer something else that's unique that's called trade-ins. So you can buy an item, trade in your item, and then for trading in your item, you get the quote, the value for that item that you're trading in. Plus they put on a 15% bonus, which is pretty cool. And then you either have to pay the difference or you're given like a store credit for the remainder if it's positive to you. So I thought that was pretty cool. I've never seen anything like that for a trade-in. So for the trade-in, you have to, I guess, submit your pictures online also and then get a quote that way. I've never done the trade-in process. Seems complicated, but I did want to mention it here because I thought that was a pretty unique offering that I didn't see from any other place. Is there anything else I wanted to mention about the Rebag? One other thing, and this is just like a business thing that I thought was interesting. So the Clear Insta AI system that recognizes your item, whether it be a bag or a jewelry piece or anything like that, from the picture and then insta quotes it, right? They actually sell that program to other businesses. So I'm really curious. I'm like, what other companies might be using this program? Surprised Fashionphile hasn't purchased it. I was just like looking around on their website and I thought that was pretty cool. So they sell their actual algorithm or program for evaluating items to other businesses. So just a little fun fact. Okay, so that was the Rebag, or Rebag. I don't know if it's the Rebag or just Rebag, but either way. So we did Fashionphile, Yoogi's Closet, Rebag, and now we're going to talk about TheRealReal. So I actually did TheRealReal because they gave me the best price on a particular item, but this is my first time ever consigning with them. And again, the process was pretty long. So let me go through what they do. TheRealReal is consignment only. They don't do any direct buys. You can do sort of an at-home pickup where they pick up your item and then they appraise it and get back to you. You can visit their actual location, which is what I did. I went in store, had made an appointment. They have a pretty robust system actually, because there's like a case manager to assign to you that I guess she sets up your appointment, asks if you have any questions, is sort of shepherding along this process. But I mean, I only had one item, so it wasn't really that crazy. I guess it would be better if I had 10 items or an estate sale or something like that that warranted so much feedback and interaction with a customer service rep. Anyways, so this person set up the appointment, reminded me of the appointment. I go in, met with a lady. She looked at my item closely under like a magnifying glass and like other items, typed in some information in her computer, compared it to other things that had been sold apparently, gave me an offer right there on the spot while I was standing there, and I said sure, and I left it with her. So that was a pretty easy system. I want to mention that it did take a long time, because when I dropped off the item there after I accepted her quote, she said, okay, it's going to take 4 weeks for it to even get on the website. And I was like, okay. So it took to ship it to their actual location, to take the photos, to put in the description, post it. That took 4 weeks. When it was posted, then it took 2 weeks to sell, which I was lucky. I'm glad it sold so fast, right? And then the payout, which they did offer a bonus for the payout. I don't remember how much it was. I think it was like a 10% bonus or a 5% bonus for getting a store credit, which I did, because I typically do that. For the payout to actually come out, they only do the payout on the 15th of the following month of when your item sold. So then it took another 4 weeks for me to actually get paid. So it's a very long process. Smooth, everything went fine, but just keep in mind, if you're like waiting to use that to fund another purchase or something, don't hold your breath, because it's going to take a very long time. But they do have that little bonus if you do like a store credit that I did want to mention here. So that was interesting. So you can do the visit the actual store, or you can just ship your items and then they'll get back to you with a quote after appraising your items. So those are the 3 ways that they do it at TheRealReal. And as I said, no issue, just a very long process. So I just wanted to mention that there's other ways to sell your items outside of like those websites that I've used in the past. You can sell on Facebook groups. I typically use, I think it's called Reetsy. They have like Reetsy selling group for Dior, Chanel, Hermes. So they have it by different brands. But I don't recommend it for a newbie, and I don't recommend it for extremely high value items. Like I wouldn't sell like a Chanel bag on there per se. I would do like maybe SLGs to start out and like build your reputation on there, because it can be hard to navigate the scams. Okay, because you could but list your item, post a description, someone's unhappy with it, and you said as is, no returns. They're unhappy, but you said as is, so they make a claim with either their credit card company or with PayPal. They're demanding for you to send it back. That's very frustrating. There's a couple people that might scam you and say they never received the item. There's a couple people that will say like, oh, I received an empty box. So there's a lot of risk on the Facebook side of things. Thankfully, nothing's ever happened with me, but I've seen some horror stories on there that make me hesitant to sell any of my higher valued items. I usually keep it under 500 and below. Just be very careful, because it can be a mixed bag. But myself, I've sold 6 items on Facebook groups and never had a problem, knock on particle board. So there's Facebook groups. Just, I would wander around, look and observe for a bit before you jump in, and just look around, see how it is. Maybe do a small purchase yourself so you can see the process, or look at more of the established sellers and see how they set up their listings and their entire process. Some people even like record themselves packing the item, literally dropping it into the mailbox to be shipped, so that they can have enough proof in case, someone claims it was never sent, or they didn't get it, or it was an empty box, or anything like that. So that's just Facebook groups. Again, very particular to your location and your risk tolerance. And then for Instagram, I have never used Instagram, but I did want to say that it is an option. There's multiple people on there or companies on there that will consign your item, or they will buy it outright. Haven't had any experience with any of them, so I didn't want to mention any particular names. I would just observe, see if you can get any general feedback, ask them for feedback, that kind of thing before you jump into it. Yeah, I've just never used it, but I did want to mention it here and say that it is an option. Another way is that I think there's companies or people that they don't necessarily consign the item, but they will promote your item to be sold. So they'll be like, oh, FYI, so-and-so is selling this, and they'll promote it in their stories for you for a certain fee. So that's option out there as well. I don't know how anyone authenticates things or how that process works. So I can't speak with authority on the process, but just wanted to let you know. Okay, so I hope that was helpful. I'm going to probably try to intersperse some screenshots of some of the websites I talked about. Let me know if I missed anything, if you had any questions, and I hope this was helpful. Remember to like this video, comment if you have any additional feedback, and definitely subscribe. We are nearing, I think, 300 now, which is mind-blowing. Like, I really appreciate you guys, and I'm having a ton of fun. I'll see you next time. Bye.